Happy Friday, LREA members, and Happy New Year to all of you. I want to talk to you a little bit today about being an LREA member and what that means, especially in our world of LRSD. So, first of all, what does it mean to be an LREA member? It means you're a member of a union, and it means that at some point you committed to standing together with our other union members in solidarity for a common reason. Um, you know, we went out on strike in November, and we did it because of what was happening, or what we believed was going to happen to our schools, and 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 we did it, and it has had some positive impact, and it continues to have some positive impact. And throughout that process, there was a lot of questions and a lot of requests for clarification and explanation of why I was making the decisions I was making. And sometimes being the member of an organization means that, especially in terms of a union and in terms of a strike, means trusting your leadership, because the reality is that whatever I share publicly with you as members, I have no guarantee that it's going to be kept private, and I've said that over and over and over. And just as I have members who thought we shouldn't have taken a strike, I have probably that same amount of members or more who think we should have done more and we should have stayed out. And so, I have a lot of things to weigh in when I'm making a decision, and I also seek the advice of people who have been in this situation. But ultimately, the decision rests with you as the members, and you did vote to authorize the strike, and then with me as the president and the board, the executive board, as far as when and how. And so part of being a union member means, in the LREA, means that you support that. And currently, we have some members who have faced disciplinary action because of some actions they took leading up to the strike, and we are supporting them, and we will continue to support them. And we have members who crossed the picket line and went to work, and unfortunately that's not what we wanted you to do. But I know some people were conflicted and felt that they needed to go to work for whatever reason. It's real easy to punish those people and to say, and to turn your back on them. But I urge you, as a union member right now in Little Rock School District, to consider a different tack on that, and maybe go have a conversation with those people who crossed the picket line, and just ask them, what was their reason? And I know some people didn't agree with my decision, but part of being a union member is, whether you agree or disagree, you stand together. It's called solidarity, and it's one of the core components of being in a union. So anyway, I know a lot of you want to know what that means going forward. Like I said, I think we need to have conversations with those people who didn't agree and felt strongly enough that they crossed the picket line and put the rest of us at risk. I think we need to talk to them and maybe help engage them about what being in a union means. I think we stand together with those people who faced disciplinary action. Now, I mean, I know everybody got a written notice of concern who did a no call, no show, but the people that I'm talking about are the ones who just recently were on the news because of an FOIA, and they need our support a lot because, you know, they got 3 days of suspension without pay or 5 days of suspension without pay, and that hurts. You know, that hurts your bottom line. And, you know, we have the strike fund and we're using it to help offset some of those losses from the no call, no show. But they need our moral support too. They need to know that we stand with them and we support them. You know, one of the things that people don't realize is that Class Dojo is on your personal phone, and you pay that bill. The district doesn't contribute to that bill. And Class Dojo is an app that you paid for in most cases. And parents voluntarily sign up for Class Dojo so they can be in contact with their teacher, with their child's teacher. And you know, that I'm not saying that exonerates those employees from reaching out to parents, but the superintendent himself said that when staff members are absent, that the schools aren't as safe as they are when the regular teachers are there. And so, you know, there are a lot of gray areas in that whole disciplinary situation. Some of those people were parents as well as teachers, and they were talking to other parents on personal Facebook pages or through their personal devices, and they've been punished for it. Obviously, we're supporting them, and I encourage you to support them, to reach out to them and let them know that you support them. Going forward, what does it mean to be an LREA member? It means that you continue to stand together. This fight is not over. That was just the very first battle. And while it did have some positive impact, it was the first battle. And it's a long ways from being over. And so I think that we have to remain strong together. We have to stand together as a union, because at some point we're going to get a school board, and when we get that school board, we'll get our recognition back. Recognition, you know, a lot of people think that means that the union is gone. The union's not gone. We're still here. I come to work every day. I go to meetings. I meet with the superintendent. I go to meetings with the city and you know, VIPs and all of those people and committees and boards that I serve on, and I still advocate for you every day. We didn't go anywhere. All that we lost was our ability to negotiate a contract. And our voice is still involved in that process, because the personnel policy committees are what will now create that language. And we ran slates in both elections, and we anticipate that the majority are going to be our members. And going forward, we're going to preserve that language. So, you know, that's one thing. I'm still advocating for you every day. You know, if you get into a situation where you need a representative for disciplinary action, Carla comes out. She represents you. we, none of that has changed. We still provide legal services. You still have your member benefits. All of those things are still in place. Our board is still working hard on committee items, and this is a time when we should be growing and encouraging people to join LREA, because we've got a lot to fight for, and going forward, we've got to go through and fight for what we had and what we took for granted for so many years, and win it all over again. We have school board elections coming up, and they're going to be major, and LREA is going to be a major impact or major force in those school board elections, and it's going to take each and every one of you to determine who's elected to our school board, and who's going to be making the decisions for Little Rock and our school district. And so that's critical going forward. If you haven't voted for the Personnel Policy Committee, well, I think it ends at noon, but I hope you voted, and I hope you voted for the person that we recommended. I hope that you let people know why they still need to be members. I'm fighting for the Hall High staff and the Fair staff and the McClellan staff. That all of those people are displaced, and that none of them get letters of non-renewal. So don't think that LREA is gone. We haven't gone anywhere, and we're not intending to go anywhere. We intend to come out of this stronger than we went into it. But in order to do that, I need for every single one of you to stand up and let people know that you are LREA and that you're not going anywhere. LREA is going to be stronger than it ever has been before, because we're going to go forward and we're going to continue to fight, and we're going to win this thing before it's over with. Because we're fighting for our students. We're fighting for our schools. We're fighting for the very existence of public education in Little Rock and, by extension, in Arkansas. And, as I've said to you before, the country's watching us. The whole country is looking at Little Rock, waiting to see what happens. They're watching you as LREA members, and they're looking at you to see what decisions you make, and as educators in Little Rock. This is going to be in the history books. And, the fight against the resegregation of Little Rock School District. You guys really have to examine what you're doing and the choices you're making. And think about, where do you want to be when history writes about you? Which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side that crossed the picket line and went into the school while the rest of us were standing out there trying to protect it? Are you going to be one that stood up and fought to protect our students? Our students stood strong. Our students went out, 13,000 students out of 23,000 were absent from school. That means parental support. That means community support. We have to stand strong too. We do. And I encourage you, like I said, to have those conversations with people who did cross the picket line, or who chose to drop their membership, or who chose not to come to school that day, and let them know that it's important that we stand together for our children. So with that, I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to say Happy New Year again, and have a great weekend. I know everybody's ready for a nap because our nap times have gone away, and I hope that everybody stays safe from this awful weather that's coming. So, see you next week.